Emma Clark was adjusting her veil when she heard the moans. Through the cracked door, she saw Derek, her Derek, with his tongue in Jessica's mouth, his hands moving up the bridesmaid's dress. "Just 3 more months, baby. She signs the rest. We do the honeymoon, and we eliminate the problem." Jessica laughed. 3 years pretending. The idiot never suspected a thing. Emma had 5 seconds. She ran. The white silk of the wedding dress caught on the rough asphalt as Emma Clark ran barefoot down the empty highway. Her lungs burned, her feet bled, but she did not stop. Behind her, the small church sat like a monument to her shattered life. Inside those walls, 200 guests still waited. The organ music had stopped playing 20 minutes ago. The whispers had probably started by now. Emma did not care. She ran faster, the heavy fabric of the dress tangling around her legs. The June sun blazed overhead, turning the Nevada desert road into a shimmering river of heat. Sweat mixed with mascara streaked down her face in black rivers. Her carefully pinned hair had come loose, falling in wild tangles around her shoulders. She had been so stupid, so blind. 20 minutes ago, she had been standing in the bride's room, hands shaking as she adjusted her veil for the 3rd time. Her maid of honor, Jessica Reynolds, had kissed her cheek and said, "I need to check something with Derek real quick. You look perfect, Em. He's going to die when he sees you." Emma had smiled, her best friend since college, her rock through everything. Jessica had been there when Emma's father died. She had been there when Emma lost her job last year. She had introduced Emma to Derek Hawthorne 3 years ago at that charity gala in Manhattan. "He's perfect for you," Jessica had said then. "Trust me." And Emma had trusted her. 5 minutes after Jessica left, Emma realized she had forgotten her grandmother's bracelet in Derek's office down the hall. Something borrowed, something blue. She needed it. So she had lifted the massive skirt of her dress and walked down the narrow hallway of the church's administrative wing. She heard the voices before she reached the door. Derek's office was at the end of the hall. The door was cracked open just an inch. Just enough. "Stop worrying." Derek's voice came through, smooth and confident. "Everything is handled. Emma doesn't suspect a thing." "You're sure Victor is on board?" That was Jessica. Emma froze. Why would Jessica be asking Derek about Victor Kane? Derek had mentioned that name before. Some business associate he called dangerous. Someone to avoid. Victor gets his shipment through the Eastern Corridor. We get Chicago. Kane trusts me now. After tonight's delivery, we're set. Derek laughed. And Emma plays the perfect little wife. She's so desperate to be loved, she'll believe anything I tell her. Emma's hand went to her mouth. "What about the witnesses from the Newark job?" Jessica asked. Her voice was casual. Too casual. Like she was asking about the weather. "Taken care of. Johnson eliminated them last night. No loose ends." "Good. And after the honeymoon?" "After the honeymoon, we do what we planned. You and me, baby. Just like we always wanted. Emma gets to play house for a few months. She signs the papers I need. Then..." Derek's voice dropped lower, but Emma heard every word. "Then she becomes a liability we eliminate." Jessica laughed. Actually laughed. "I almost feel bad. She really thinks I'm her best friend." "You're a hell of an actress. 3 years of playing the supportive bestie. That's commitment. Please." She made it easy. So needy. So trusting. "Remember when I told her you were perfect for her?" Jessica's voice dripped with mockery. "She practically threw herself at you that night." Emma's entire body went numb. The look on her face when she walks down that aisle. Derek started. Emma did not wait to hear more. She turned and ran, not toward the sanctuary where 200 people waited, not toward her mother in the front row, not toward the exits where Derek's friends stood guard. She ran toward the back emergency exit. She slammed through it, setting off an alarm that screamed into the afternoon air. She did not care. She ran across the parking lot, past the decorative arch covered in white roses, past the vintage car with the Just Married sign. She ran until she hit the highway. Now, 15 minutes later, her legs trembled with exhaustion. The desert stretched endlessly in all directions. No cars, no buildings, just heat and sand and the crushing weight of her own stupidity. How had she missed it? 3 years. years of Derek's careful attention, his gifts, his promises, the way he slowly convinced her to quit her job because, "I make enough for both of us, baby. Let me take care of you." The way he moved her from New York to his house in Nevada, the way he discouraged her from making new friends. "You have Jessica, you have me. What else do you need?" And Jessica, God, Jessica had been there for everything, every date, every milestone, always supportive, always encouraging Emma to trust Derek more, to give him more control, to believe in their future. It had all been a lie. Emma's vision blurred with tears. She stumbled, caught herself, kept running. Her feet left bloody prints on the gray asphalt. The dress was no longer white. Dust and dirt stained the silk brown and gray. Behind her, she heard an engine. Emma's heart stopped. She spun around. A black SUV was coming up the highway behind her, fast, too fast. They had found her. She tried to run faster, but her body had nothing left. The SUV would catch her in seconds. She looked around wildly. Nothing. No place to hide. No place to go. The SUV roared closer. Emma closed her eyes and waited for the end. But the vehicle did not hit her. It slowed down, pulled alongside her, stopped. Emma opened her eyes. It was not an SUV. It was a black Mercedes sedan. Expensive. The kind of car that cost more than most people made in a year. The windows were tinted so dark she could not see inside. The driver's window rolled down. A man looked out at her. He was maybe 35, with dark hair cut short and sharp features that belonged on a Roman statue. His eyes were almost black, intense and calculating. He wore a perfectly tailored black suit. A thin scar ran along his left jawline. He looked dangerous. But then again, Emma was currently running from a man who had just discussed eliminating witnesses and making her a liability. Dangerous was relative. The man studied her for a long moment. His gaze moved from her ruined dress to her bloody feet to her tear-stained face. His expression remained completely neutral. Then he said just 2 words. "Get in." His voice was deep, quiet, the kind of voice that did not need to be loud to command attention. Emma hesitated. Every instinct screamed that getting into a stranger's car was insane, but staying on this highway was certain death. Derek would find her, and when he did, she thought about his words. "She becomes a liability we eliminate." Emma grabbed the door handle and climbed into the passenger seat. The interior of the Mercedes was cool and dark. Leather seats, the smell of expensive cologne. Classical music played softly from the speakers, something Italian, opera maybe. The man did not speak. He simply put the car in gear and drove. Emma's hands shook in her lap. She wanted to say something. "Thank you. Who are you? Where are we going?" But her throat was too tight. Her voice would not work. They drove in silence for 5 minutes, then 10. Finally, the man spoke. "There's water in the center console." Emma opened it with trembling fingers, found a bottle of water, opened it and drank half of it in 3 desperate gulps. The cool liquid helped. Her hands stopped shaking quite so badly. "Thank you," she whispered. The man nodded once but said nothing else. Emma studied him from the corner of her eye. His hands on the steering wheel were steady, strong hands. He wore a silver watch that probably cost more than her childhood home. A thin platinum ring on his right hand. Not a wedding ring, something else. "What's your name?" Emma asked. The man glanced at her briefly. Those dark eyes were impossible to read. "You don't need to know my name. You just picked up a runaway bride on a desert highway. I think I deserve to know who you are." The corner of his mouth twitched, almost a smile. Fair point. He was silent for another moment, then said, "Marco." "Marco what?" "Just Marco, for now." Emma nodded slowly. "I'm Emma." "I know." Her blood went cold. "How do you know?" Marco did not answer. He took an exit off the highway. They drove through a small town that looked half abandoned. Boarded up shops, empty streets, then back onto another highway heading north. "Where are we going?" Emma asked. Somewhere safe. Safe from what? Marco looked at her again. This time his gaze held something almost like sympathy. From whoever you're running from. Emma's eyes filled with tears again. She turned to look out the window so Marco would not see her cry. But a sob escaped anyway. Then another. Then she was crying so hard her whole body shook. Marco said nothing. He simply drove. After a few minutes, he reached into the back seat and produced a jacket. He handed it to her. Emma took it, grateful. The church had been air-conditioned. She had not realized how cold she was until now. She wrapped the jacket around her shoulders. It smelled like him. Clean. Expensive. Safe. They drove for another 30 minutes. Emma's crying finally stopped. Exhaustion took over instead. Her eyelids grew heavy. The adrenaline was wearing off. Her body demanded rest. You can sleep, Marco said quietly. We have another hour to drive. I don't know you, Emma mumbled. Her eyes were already closing. No, but I'm not the one you're running from. That was true enough. Emma let herself drift. The leather seat was comfortable. The car was warm. For the first time in hours, she felt almost safe. Just before she fell completely asleep, she heard Marco's phone vibrate. Once, twice, 3 times. She heard him pick it up, heard his sharp intake of breath. Then his voice, very quiet, very cold. Who is this? Emma tried to open her eyes but could not. Sleep pulled her under like a wave. She did not hear the response, did not see the message on Marco's phone screen, did not see the photo of her in her wedding dress, taken just 2 hours ago at the church, did not see the words below the image. She belongs to me. Return her or die. Marco stared at the message for a long moment. Then he looked at the woman sleeping in his